Harris Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
In a world where the flow of money within the complex systems of government is as endless as the rushing currents of water, and yet perilously difficult to navigate, there is a whisper of a new dawn, a change that could reverberate across the globe, a change that is being driven by one man whose vision extends far beyond the stars, Elon Musk. The name is synonymous with breakthrough technology, venturing into the new frontier of space and engineering feats on the electric car. Musk has conquered the frontiers of space, revolutionized the electric car industry, and now he's turning his sights on a new frontier, American politics.
Hi, everyone.
Imagine a future wherein your hard-earned tax dollars are not bled by inefficiency, where government spending is focused on areas that really count. Imagine a world with no waste, no bureaucracy, and public funds focused on spending money where it best serves the values of the people they were meant to serve. Now, what if this world is not some faraway idealistic wish, but rather possible? What if this is, in fact, a dream taking shape? With Elon Musk, with his ambitious political partner in crime, Vivek Ramaswamy, at the forefront of this revolution? This isn't just another story about political rhetoric and broken election promises. This is a story of ambition, controversy, and most importantly, what could very well be the future of our nation. The stakes couldn't be higher. It's a battle for the heart and soul of American governance, the same system, continued with its wasteful spending, or a new wave of leadership challenging that status quo. Musk and Ramaswamy had one such question in mind while trying to bring into focus their vision for reform. They say that the financial state of the United States is dire. The inefficiencies that plague the government are not just inconveniences, but serious threats to the nation's future. Their core argument, simple and profound. The U.S. government at all levels is spending far more than it can afford. And unless drastic action is taken, the country risks a fiscal collapse with disastrous implications for future generations. During an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast that was pivotal, if only for a moment, Elon Musk pulled back the curtain to show the government's fiscal operations and the labyrinthine structure in place that dictates how public money should be spent.
Basically, we're on a path to bankruptcy. America's on a path to bankruptcy. So we have to cut government spending or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would.
He spoke of a world mired in archaic practices, red tape, and duplicity one, in which billions of dollars in taxpayer funds were siphoned away into programs serving no valid purpose. He considers the government to be inflated and too bureaucratic. Whereas it was initially set up to serve the interests of the general public, it has since grown out of proportion, he says, with limited liability and lack of oversight. Musk didn't just point to the problem, he had a plan to fix it. And that plan, he said, needs to start with a cut in government spending. He described an impending financial crisis that would assuredly bankrupt the nation if not stemmed. What was clear to Musk were the similarities between the finances of the government and those of an individual or family living beyond their means. A person who spends more than they make in income risks losing everything, just like a government does. The message Musk delivered was clear, even chilling. The U.S. economy is on borrowed time, and unless drastic cuts are made, the consequences will be catastrophic. The specifics of Musk's proposed reforms are staggering. There are over 450 government agencies currently operating, each with its budget, mission, and mandate, without adequate oversight. Many of these agencies, Musk argues, have outlived their usefulness. Some, born to address the pressing issues of their time, have outgrown their original mandate. Many are performing redundant tasks or operating programs no longer authorized by Congress. Yet the money keeps coming to them in a never-ending river of taxpayer dollars swallowed by bureaucracy. But one of the biggest targets for reform by Musk and Ramaswamy is the Department of Defense, which devours more than half of the discretionary budget of the nation. The Pentagon alone accounts for almost $1 trillion in yearly spending and has been characterized over the years by ways of waste, mismanagement, and inefficiency. Musk cites the military's inadequate IT systems as an example of this failure. Basic tasks, such as verifying payments, are still greatly hindered by outdated technology and systems that have not been updated to keep pace with modern demands. This, Musk argues, is not only inefficient, but irresponsible. How can the government continue to ask its citizens to foot the bill for such a broken system? But the Pentagon is just the tip of the iceberg. Musk and Ramaswamy have identified countless other programs that continue to siphon away taxpayer dollars, many of which are operating without congressional approval. Other programs, such as Veterans Health Care and the 21st Century Cures Act, continue to receive funding year after year, despite the fact that their original mandates have long since expired. This leads to the result of an enormous waste of public funds that could be used more effectively in solving pressing problems like infrastructure, health, and education. In his own words, Musk says the U.S. government has become an eating machine that returns very little in terms of useful results. Inefficiency has cost the American people dear, as they go on paying more in taxes but get fewer services in return. Yet with all evidence pointing at colossal wastage, the system just wouldn't quit because of interests entrenched within the system and the inertia of politics. But Musk and Ramaswamy go beyond pointing out the problem. They offer a vision for how to fix it. Nor is it about dismantling government programs to satisfy this or that political constituency, but about an exercise of making government effective, accountable, and responsive to the people's needs. The goal is not to eliminate spending, but to make sure every dollar spent is utilized for its highest and best use. The ultimate aim is to have a government that works for the people, not against them. The scope of their proposed reforms is huge. In 2023, the U.S. government spent an astonishing $6.2 trillion, $1.7 trillion of it on discretionary spending. That is a lot of money that could be better utilized in fueling innovation, building infrastructure, and fortifying communities. A good lot of it goes to waste via bloated systems, outdated technology, and programs that no longer serve the public interest. If Musk and Ramaswamy are able to slice $2 trillion out of the federal budget, the country, they say, would be better positioned to invest in its future. Instead of investing in programs that are highly inefficient or simply not needed, the government could invest resources in those programs that will provide actual value to the American people. Of course, any road to reform is never easy. Critics, most notably from the Republican Party, have already started to assail Musk's proposed cuts. Some of them strongly feel that Musk's plan is too extreme. It would undermine critical programs serving important constituencies. Others are afraid that such cuts might result in disastrous consequences for national security or the economy as a whole. These critics believe that this system, though imperfect, maintains the stability of the country. They warn that deep cuts would leave the U.S. exposed to threats at home and abroad. Yet the criticism does not faze Musk. His vision for the country's future is one of fiscal responsibility, transparency, and efficiency. He says this government of waste and inefficiency can once again become an instrument for good, serving the needs of people rather than the interests of bureaucrats and special ones. Musk and Ramaswamy said this path to reform may be difficult to take, but they will push on no matter how tough it is going to get out there. The question that hangs in the balance over this ambitious undertaking is whether the American people are ready to buy into that vision. Will the country now gather the political will necessary to tackle its inefficiencies? Will the public be willing to accept painful cuts if fiscal stability is ever going to be restored? Or will bureaucracy and political inertia prove too great to overcome? The answer is not clear. Political polarities are greater than ever, and the country is split down the middle over how to address its fiscal woes. The vision of Musk and Ramaswamy may be bold, but it's fraught with risks. And yet, right in the middle of that vision is an undeniable truth. Change is not just necessary, it is inevitable. Whether the country is ready for that change is another matter altogether. As we look to the future, one thing is certain: the stakes could not be higher. The decisions made in the coming years will shape the course of the nation for generations to come. Will the U.S. continue on its present course, bogged down by inefficiency and waste? Or will a new era of reform begin? One that restores fiscal responsibility and ensures that public funds are used to build a better, more prosperous future for all Americans. Only time will tell. But as we embark on this journey, one thing is clear: the future of America is in our hands. And it is a future that we must all work together to create. And so, as the rearview mirror gazes back at this bold vision, from Elon Musk down to Vivek Ramaswamy, remember, sometimes it's painful truths that allow us to become great. Which road is to come is anyone's guess, but for now, it's within our grasp that a brighter future is ahead. Stay tuned, stay informed, and remember, the most improbable times often create the greatest changes.